Hello everybody, welcome back to Max Reviews, and we got 6 Moonknight episodes. The show is over, it's officially over, it's all done, so today I'm going to be stopping and ranking all 6 episodes from the best to the worst. Little context, I enjoyed all these episodes. I don't really think there was a bad one. There's weaker ones, but I don't think there was really a bad one, and with that said, let's get ranking them. Unfortunately, coming in last place here is gonna be episode 3, the friendly type, and I thought that episode 6 would come in last place, but this episode there wasn't much going on here that really intrigued me. First off, you have Mark and Layla just going around and trying to look for this thing for Amit for most of the episode. You have the Council of the Gods, which should be interesting, but it's just a bunch of people, and so that isn't that great. You do have this action scene at the end where they're fighting this guy, but they just grab this map, form this star, and then turn the sky back so that they could figure out where Amit is. So basically, this is just, hey, let's get us prepared so that we could go to this, let's go ask somebody to give us this map so that this map could show us this thing to go back to in time from the sky, to figure out the sky chart, to go to this tomb where this Amit thing is hidden inside of this guy's body. That is a very, very sort of, let's just do all this to get to this point. It's just sort of building the bridge so that we could get to episode 4 and get to the tomb, and then we know where all that goes. But I found it very filler. It was good. I still like the Moonknight action. There was some great dialogue. The gods were sort of interesting to see, even though it was a bit underwhelming. And the ending was probably pretty good with having Khonshu enslaved inside of like one of these clay figures. But other than that, it's just sort of filler to get us to the next one. It's not exactly filler, but you need this episode so that we could get to the next thing, so that we could just get the map, get the stuff, get everything all together so that we could build to the next thing. It's fine. It's not horrible. I enjoyed some of it. There's some good parts to it here. There's some just nice little talk between Layla and Mark and Steven where she's figuring all this stuff out about him that she didn't previously know. But overall, this episode, it was worse than I remembered on rethinking, and it's still fine episode, maybe even good. I would call it good, but for me, it's not exactly what I wanted it to be all the way. Coming in 5th place here is going to be episode 6, Gods and Monsters, the episode that sort of disappointed me the most at first, but, it's the shortest one, which finale episodes shouldn't be the shortest, they should be the longest. The show, it's not a horrible ending. It doesn't exactly 100% stick the landing, but it gives you pretty good ending to the show where you get to see Amit, who I didn't mention this in my reviews, but Amit, Khonshu, they look amazing. I just gotta say, Amit and Khonshu look so good. I can't believe how good they got. Just the designs of these Egyptian gods who sound so goofy. Moonknight, we get some great Moonknight action. I think this is where we see Moonknight the most, and you get that reveal at the end that Jake's there. But why is this in last? I feel like they sort of rushed the finale a bit, where they had to spend these few minutes with Layla so that we could get Mark back from the dead, where he could get with Steven, and then we gotta get a monster fight with Khonshu and Amit. People are dying, and then everything's over. They come back in their bed. They land on the face. It's over. Post-credit scene. Jake's there. So it felt like we needed more time. We needed 10 to 20 more minutes to flesh this out. Or just give us 3 more episodes, sort of expand this even more. And unfortunately, this episode couldn't exactly stick the landing 100%. It was fine. It was fairly solid episode, but for me, it was a disappointment, and it just couldn't land it, unfortunately. Let me think. What place would this be? 4th place here is going to be episode 2, Summon the Suit, where we're starting to figure this stuff out with Steven, where he's like, what is going on? He's starting to figure out Mark and this guy in his head. We get some cool enough stuff. We're introduced to Layla, and we figure out that he has a wife. There's that great scene in the hallway with Khonshu showing up that I really enjoy. And then you get, like, these guards coming to get him. You have this sort of great scene when Arthur Harrow just sort of offers him some vegan soup in his, vegan peas or soup or something. And just they have these talks. And then you have this great final action scene with Moonknight taking out this sort of monster thing. And then you have this talk with Khonshu, and they're in Egypt. I enjoyed this episode. It was a solid episode. It was really great. I enjoyed just the sort of aesthetic to it, where you have Steven trying to figure stuff out, and Mark's like, hey, give me the body. He's like, no, I don't want to give you the body. And you have Khonshu being introduced, where I actually get to see him in his, like, full form, and it's just so cool to see that. There's some just great stuff in here, but I feel like Layla being introduced and some of the stuff just sort of slowed it down a bit. I still enjoy it. It's a good episode. It's not like top tier for this show, but I still really enjoyed it. Before we get into the top 3, remember, just leave your comments down below. What is your favorite episode? What did you like about the show? What did you not like about the show? Just leave it down below. I want to hear. 3rd place here is going to be episode 1, The Goldfish Problem. And I rewatched this, and it has just so many references and so many things to show what's going to come. When he's at the museum, he's taking care of boxes of the hippopotamus god. And he's talking about the gods thing. There's so many things here that just set up things where you rewatch, you're like, oh, it's a great introduction. I love it even more after rewatch, where you're figuring this out. I like the music here. Every day you wake up. I really like that. And Khonshu being introduced, just so creepy and cool. You get this great conversation with Arthur Harrow. And then you get the great ending where Moonknight, that was shown in the trailers, where Moonknight's beating up this, like, wolf thing. And so I loved this first episode. Rewatching it, it's even better, and it moved up the list even more. It's a really, really solid episode, and I loved it. 2nd place here is going to be The Tomb, episode 4. Yeah, episode 4. And so The Tomb, the thing with this one, why it's not exactly high. Originally I had it in first, but I think, like, the first half of it, you don't have that shock value where they're just going into the tomb, they're trying to get it, and you have this creepy stuff going on, but didn't exactly have me like, oh, wow, this is crazy. You had this, I'm creeping around the tomb, he finds the finds the Amit thing, and then he gets shot, and that's when things sort of going crazy, where you see him, he's in this, like, asylum, he's talking to these people, stuff is going crazy, and then you see the hippo, and you see Mark. It is just such a great ending, cliffhanger, that I loved, but that first half wasn't nearly as good as the second, like, shock value ending of the episode, which I think that might have pushed it up a bit more than it should have for me. Originally, just the shock value of, they shot him, he falls, and it's just so cool. But coming in first place here is going to be episode 5, The Asylum. Just, it's so cool. This Egyptian mythology, it's emotional. You get to see how Steven came to be. You have that great ending with Mark and Steven separated. You get to see, like, these little conversations with Arthur. And this is the only one where we're not 100% in the real world at all. And that's what I loved. It's so different and weird. And you're like, what is reality? Was this all fake? Was this all real? Was this all in his head? Is this stuff all in his head? Is he even alive? And so good. I really enjoyed this. This is what I wanted from the show. And that might be what sort of pushed episode 6 down even more for me, because I was loving this show so much in those episode 4 and 5 that when it got to episode 6, I didn't get that amazing sort of shock value insanity going on, and it was pretty basic, just monster fight. That was sort of like pushed it down a bit for me. But I still really enjoyed this show. I think I gave it a solid 8.5 out of 10 in my review yesterday. Or I don't know when this is going to release, but we'll see. So leave your comments down below, your ranking of the episodes. I just really, really enjoyed a bunch of these episodes. Some of them, not so much. So that's my thoughts on the show. Thank you for watching. I'm Braden. This is Max Views. Braden out.